Shaq and Kobe in the Los Angeles Lakers. Golden State Warriors with Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson. One of the greatest sports dynasties in basketball history. Juan and I have another one. This is the Sports Dynasty Podcast.
That was well said.
Thank you.
I also love that you strategically left out the Michael Jordan dynasty. Love it very much.
No problem.
All right. So this is Sports Dynasty Podcast. Like he said, be sure that you go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube. This is also the basketball roundtable that I promised you. Remember, I'm not a liar. It's here. And that guy from last time, Raul, B-Ball Gamers, right there.
Yo, I'm back. We're here to talk some basketball.
So like I said, subscribe to us on YouTube. Subscribe to him on YouTube. His link will be in the description. We're also on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartradio. I will actually put the roundtable there this time because I still have data left over. That's perfect.
Awesome.
And we're at Twitter, at Podcast Dynasty. Go ahead and hit us up there. That will be the easiest way to contact all of us. His Twitter will also be in the description too, Raul. Now we can talk basketball.
Okay, so where do we begin, guys?
I guess we could start with MVPs.
Or we can start with, how do you like the season so far?
It's true. I mean, it's pretty interesting. For me, it's okay. I mean, my Boston Celtics are completely, showing that we didn't need Kyrie. Because think about this. People say, "Oh, Kyrie Irving's gone," so the Celtics may take a step back. How we're gonna see how Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown able to handle it, even though they handled it by themselves in 2018, going to the Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. So without Kyrie Irving, so I don't know.
It's very easy. The answer is you found your chemotherapy in Kemba Walker.
Yes, and Kemba
He's
Walker.
not cancer. Kyrie is.
I did rant for like almost 2 years that this team is so much better without Kyrie.
I've said that. I said that last year too. The last 2 years, and some of the fans ripped me saying, "Oh, how can you rip on Kyrie?" And look what happened. And look at the Brooklyn Nets now. You can see he's not a leader. It's not wrong with not being a leader. He's just not the guy that you want to lead your team. He's not.
It's not horrible being Robin. You know what I'm saying? Robin gets some love too.
For real.
And if you go on the right track, there's like 60 different Robins in comic books. If you go on the right track, you could be Nightwing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could be cool. You know.
I mean, that was a bloodbath, man. Is he like the most hated Boston player of all time?
I know for sure on Wednesday when they play in the Celtics in TD Garden, they're gonna boo the hell out of him.
They're gonna let it rip.
And I wish I could be there to do it too. Fuck those guys. Fuck him. Fuck Kyrie.
But besides, he's getting too much attention, man. His
yeah, we are.
trash.
My bad.
But the Celtics are for real, man. Their defense is insane. That Clippers game just showed it.
It did.
They were guarding Paul George. They were guarding Kawhi. Tatum, who I'm actually not a fan of, he's starting to play better. Ever since he dropped that little Kobe thing, I've always been on that. Ever since he followed Kobe's words, he started playing bad. But now he dropped it, so he's doing better.
All right, so we'll save this because we have a specific topic for discussions like this. So the first topic we're going to go through is actually load management thoughts, because Trevor and I kind of touched on this about 2 or 3 regular episodes ago. Now that we have a third brain here, we can actually talk about how this is going to go down. So load management, resting your players, especially this early in the season.
So
the Clippers.
This is a tricky one because I understand both sides. I can't really say who's in the wrong here. Like, if you're a fan, for example, obviously Kawhi Leonard, like, he's your favorite player. You've been dying to see him play. You get the tickets for him to watch him play. You get there, and he's out. So that's just, the day is killed. I understand, it's still a basketball game. There's still an experience, but especially for the kids, they want to see their favorite player play. Now, if you're on Kawhi's side, nobody knows their body like yourself.
Okay.
Yes, Spurs.
So yeah, exactly. So he knows. He knows when he's hurting. He knows there might be a day where he plays and it might kill him. So that's why he doesn't play back-to-backs. So I understand what he's doing because he's only there to play in June.
Yeah, that is all he cares
like,
about.
honestly, I think if they could make the finals without him, he'll just tank the season and just play in June.
Yeah, he would. And that's proof of last year. He played hurt almost the entire postseason last year.
The Raptors played about, 25 games without him, I think, or something like that?
He missed 22 games last year.
22 games?
He only played 60 60 games last year.
And he still limped to the finals.
That's what I'm saying. And then when he played hurt throughout the entire postseason.
So, like I said, I understand both sides. Every player is different because, you keep playing and you're like, I'm playing for these fans and this and that. And let's say you tore your ACL, your season's done, your career could be done. You never know what happens.
Makes sense.
Just for that one night. I mean, the fans are not going to take care of you after that. Now you got to worry about yourself, So it's both sides.
So what I'll say about that is why this early?
That means he's hurt. I got to think he's hurt because this is very early, man. Has a month passed by of the whole season, like actual entire month?
Yes.
But he started before.
A month today. Today. 22nd.
But he started before a month.
Oh, with the preseason.
Right? He started
like a game or two.
He started before a month, so he got to be hurt, man. He must have something maybe with his quad or his thigh. That was the thigh injury, right? Mm-hmm. On the Spurs. He got to be hurt, man.
For me, I understand what you're saying, but I think it comes more. I'm looking at it more as a fan and as a consumer. The consumer, obviously, being ESPN, TNT, who pays the NBA pays them. Or I think the other way around. They pay the NBA.
The other way around.
Right. They pay the NBA to, put content on their networks. Now, if I am watching on television, because like I said, everybody can't afford to buy tickets to NBA games. Some people have, some people don't. So if I'm looking forward to watching an NBA game to see a team play like for instance the Bucks and the Clippers, and I want to see, especially we live on the East Coast and that's being a West Coast game, we're staying up late at night just to watch the game, and it's like Kawhi's not playing, so why need to watch this game? So as you know, the NBA ratings are down. The NBA ratings are down. A lot of the good players are in the Western Conference. Instead of us living in the East Coast, we have to wait until later to see the games that we really want to see. And also, it's like it kind of diminishes the regular season. It's like they pretty much say that we don't care about the regular season. The regular season doesn't matter. So if you feel like the regular season doesn't matter, why you want the consumer to pay a lot of money to not see stars play? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Damn, go Professor. Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. That Bucks and Clippers game, I was really looking forward to that game, and I saw he was out, and I'm like,
and it's tough because especially since it's East and West, the people in Milwaukee will only see Kawhi Leonard in Milwaukee once unless they meet in the finals. And then again, finals tickets in Milwaukee, since they haven't been there in years, it's gonna be crazy. But the tickets over there.
It's a championship round period.
And you also don't know if those two teams are gonna even
exactly. Meet up. So it's kind of like you're robbing the fans of seeing their players. Like for instance, in New York, we live in New York, right? The Knicks. The Knicks sell out every game because a lot of times they hit to see the other team. I'm not gonna lie, the Knicks fans here who go to the Garden, they're passionate fans to watch the team win, lose.
Surprisingly, yeah. Almost every New Yorker here is a Knicks fan and will rock that blue and orange.
For real.
No matter how bad they are.
And they also get the pleasure of seeing the other team play. Like, if LeBron comes in, if the Lakers come into town, it's still gonna be packed, but most people are gonna see because LeBron and the Lakers are in town.
On a side note, those tickets are so freaking expensive.
And they're very expensive.
Because another thing, no matter how whack they are, that's still the Garden, man.
Yeah.
And then the Knicks being the highest franchise with money.
They're the most expensive team in the league.
In the league, and probably in American sports, probably behind the Dallas Cowboys. If I'm not mistaken, I check it up again.
That actually sounds right.
I think the Knicks are behind the Cowboys by.
They're in that territory.
They're in that territory. They're up there like $5-6 billion worth, which is ridiculous amount for being a terrible team.
It's kind of retarded, but
as a consumer, I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
New York City, the Garden.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
New York.
Of course. Yeah, and also my thing is
James Dolan is never leaving.
He would be an idiot to leave. Yeah, he would.
When these stars rest games, like especially back-to-backs national games, it's like, wait a minute, you're not. Think about it. Kawhi played 60 games last year, right? Mm-hmm. So 22 of those games, like, all right, fine, I'm gonna rest my body. Like, we're gonna make the playoffs anyway, so like, who cares? Like, we just cruise. I think a lot of teams, the high marquee teams are just cruising. They're cruising through the regular season. It's like it doesn't matter. Because let's be honest, around this time of the year, we're watching football. I
watch both, man. I'm like yesterday, I was flicking.
Like
I was flicking for the Texans game.
Like for me, for the Celtics, they're playing. I'm gonna watch it. I'm a Celtics
That's
fan.
why you're here today.
So I'm gonna watch it. But if the Celtics is not playing around this time, I'm I'm focused on football. Every football game because we do this podcast and I love football. Football's my favorite sport. But if the Suns isn't playing, I'm gonna watch it. It doesn't really pick up steam until Christmas time. Christmas time, MLK Day.
Usually Christmas is like when the season starts.
To me, honestly, in a way, they're saying that. And then you say that, how you say, a lot of these players are saying, oh, we're playing too many games. A lot of players are playing in the summer. After the finals, they go play overseas. FIBA World Cup they had last year. When the star players didn't want to play in the FIBA World Cup, why? Because it's pointless. Like, it isn't the Olympics. It's FIBA.
Another thing is, if you got, like I said, you got players, they just want rings, man.
Yeah.
So if you play FIBA, Paul George, that happens to you, how's your team going to compete?
And it's true. It's true. And obviously, that was terrible.
See,
at the end.
That's why I can't say who's wrong because I understand both sides too much.
I understand both sides
I just can't
too.
pick a wrong side.
I understand both sides too, but I think Adam Silver needs to do something because I think when ESPN on TNT, when their contract expires, with the TV deal expires, they're gonna be like, well, we're not gonna pay you as much as we did last because they overpaid last year for the new deal. That's why you have these people having monster deals like average player getting like $80 million in contracts because the salary cap is so high because of the TV deals.
One suggestion I would have if it's so much with the load management, short the season.
Yeah.
Just take out games.
Yeah. Showing instead of having 8 preseason games, have like 4.
Minimize back-to-backs.
Yeah.
If you really look at Kawhi Leonard, the dude just doesn't play back-to-backs. Like, if you're a Clippers fan and you want to see Kawhi Leonard, look at the schedule. If he has a back-to-back, just don't book a ticket for any of those games. Now, if it's just one game and then there's a spread, he's going to play. The dude just doesn't play back-to-backs. There's a ton of players that would like to not play in the back-to-backs because let's say you playing in Boston, then you got to go to a whole nother city, man.
In the next Portland, for example,
right
across the country.
Exactly.
At least for me, if you're gonna do it on the road game. Now I know the road fans are gonna be not the road, do it for the home games because you're gonna be in your home game 41 times a year for the regular season.
Right.
Like for instance, if he wanted to sit out the game against Milwaukee in their home, but the next day went to Portland the next day. Sit out the Bucks game at home and go to Portland.
Well, okay. My only problem would be is if they sit out primetime games.
But no, they were both primetime games.
They were both primetime games, yeah. Both of those?
Yeah, one was
so
on ESPN, one was on ESPN, one was on TNT.
Okay.
But my thing is that you're going to piss off somebody.
Man, that sucks. How you put 2 primetime games back to back like that?
Back-to-back primetime?
That's not right. See, 100%. Silver got to do something about that. That's ridiculous.
Exactly, and also the fact of the matter is that they do that because they're paying so much money. They want content.
So there's only 2 good teams?
No,
you can't put another one? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
think about it. The Golden State Warriors before the injuries have like at least 30 national games this year. But
probably took some out.
Right? Oh, they had to hold.
You're gonna have to take them out because look about it. After the Bucks in the Bucks game with the Clippers, the next game was the Rockets and the Warriors. And the Warriors is like
that was still primetime game.
Still, yeah. In the nighttime, in 10:30 Eastern time, like no one wants to see the Warriors with none of their star players. None of the star players is playing. Like, who wants to see them on prime time? Like, flex. I wish they had a flex thing. I think they probably do have a flex thing too. We just take.
It's probably not as crazy as NFL's though.
But
maybe that's something they should.
They probably just left it there because of Houston. Harden, Westbrook, that's still 2 A-list level players.
But still, like I'm saying, but especially living in the East Coast, if you want to see those games.
Yeah, we're not staying up.
No one's
likely.
Yeah,
we could wait another time to watch Harden and Westbrook.
People have to work. And then my thing is that the NBA is creating games like prime because I think after January they have Saturday night games, Saturday night primetime games. They're the only game in town.
Oh, the Channel 7,
on Channel ABC. So they're trying to generate as much money as possible, which I get. Might as well generate as much money as possible, but just shorten the schedule. If you're gonna do that, to shorten the schedule, have everybody play each other 3 times, at least 70 games. Instead of 82, maybe 70 games. Spread it out. That.
Or another thing, which might be even better, just take out back-to-backs.
Yeah.
I think that's at least the first step.
Like, if you take out back-to-backs, I'm sure some of these players, Kawhi would play that Bucks game. Because I think he's playing today, the Rockets game. The game starts in about 40 minutes, and there's no alert of him not playing. So I'm pretty sure he's gonna play primetime game, but he didn't play yesterday. See, just stop with the back-to-backs. The players hate it.
Take out preseason entirely and could use that extra 2 weeks or whatever to spread out the entire schedule. You keep your 82. There won't be back-to-backs anymore. They could do something like that.
This sport isn't as hardcore as the NFL, where players are playing like half dead. Like, the dude is hurt. He's not playing in the NBA.
And also, the preseason in the NFL, most of those players, the 75-man roster, they're trying to get on the team. So that's why the preseason for the players is important. But for the NBA, you really have an idea of who's going to make the team already. 15 people on the roster.
Low key, like after free agency, bro.
Yeah. You have an idea.
You already know what's the team or not.
Like you guys have the summer league with the people trying to see who I want to bring out from the G League or who wants in the G League. Other than you have an idea of what the roster is. Why do you need to play 8 exhibition games before an 82-game season? It's dumb. It doesn't make any sense.
I think the most important thing about preseason, it might be the rookies, the first-round draft picks. It might be them.
I understand that. Then shorten it to 4 games. Like, you think about Zion Williamson. Zion hasn't played a game yet. So it's like, oh, he's the number 1 draft pick. He's hurt. I
think that's a conditioning thing. I think for him, it's a conditioning problem.
Yeah, because he was hurt in Summer League, too.
And he was hurt too.
In college, in the tournament. But, it's still a bad look. Still a bad look for the NBA to say, okay, so, I don't know. I just think that for a little management, it has its perks. But as a consumer and a fan who's spending money to go to the games, it doesn't even deserve it. It means basically telling me that the regular season doesn't matter. And it's like, if it's not mattering, why am I watching? You know what I'm saying? At least in the NFL, every single game matters. Every single game matters. There's an importance in every game.
It's true.
But in the NBA, you can go like, oh, well, the first 2 months doesn't matter, so it doesn't pick up to January.
Yeah, even to the fans,
even though
NFL, it matters.
It matters.
I guess in terms of like magnitude of the games, but those games do matter because when you hit March and April, and especially in the West, and you fighting for a playoff spot.
That's my favorite part of the season, March.
Those games that you might have won or lost in the beginning of the season will come back to haunt you or bless you. But my really thing is, let's say Kawhi plays all his back-to-backs, right? He plays the Bucks game. He tears his ACL, right? So now the playoffs come, and it's just Paul George. You know they're not going to do nothing with just Paul George.
Yeah, they're not beating
So now, as a fan of the game, right? As a fan of the game,
it sucks.
You're watching what could have been, and now you'll never know what happened. There is nothing worse in a sport than when playoff time comes and key players are injured, because you just don't know what would have happened.
Like for instance, like last year. Now we know this. When the Knicks are good, the NBA does well. When the Lakers are in the playoffs, they do well. The NBA is good. It's good for the league. LeBron not being in the postseason last year did take a hit because, like, wait a minute, LeBron is not competing for a championship. He's out. And then Kevin Durant getting hurt in the finals. Do you think that didn't hurt? They didn't hurt the finals, how it felt? Yeah, the Raptors won, but it wasn't like, it wasn't the class he was looking for. It was like, all right, Kevin Durant's hurt. Steph Curry's great, but it's like,
there's a what if.
It's a what if.
That's my issue. There's a what if. He got rushed back, He played that Houston game. They ain't need him for it. You saw game 6 and 7. They ain't need him for it. And he got injured with that, I believe, the Achilles, and then he came back and tore it. Your championship's ruined.
That was a whole controversial thing in the zone. Talking about it was a calf thing. We all knew it was Achilles.
Yeah, everybody was an Achilles.
Yeah, we knew it was Achilles the moment it happened. I'm like, oh, this don't look good at all.
But I kept saying calf injury, trying to get him back. No.
Rushed them back because they were desperate to win. You tore it. Boom, you see? And now there's a what if. In my opinion, I know people might feel different, but I hate what ifs in sports. I hate when things like that happen. Like, for example, I'm a LeBron fan, and 2015 just frustrated me. Like, I was just frustrated. Or like the Patriots when we lost to Denver.
Yeah, okay.
Come on, man.
2015.
Yeah, like our entire team is dead, bro.
2015. Yeah.
Like injuries is just a killer, man. For the entertainment of the sport, trust me, it kills in the playoffs.
And that's why Kawhi Leonard does what he does.
Especially since the NBA wants to be they're trying to fight to be the most popular sport in America and in North America. But when stuff like that happens, when we piss the fans off and the ratings down like that, I said before, people say, "Oh, the NBA will eventually pass the NFL as far as like the most popular sport in America." No, it's not. That's never gonna happen. Yeah, you pass baseball as if baseball for a long time was the most popular sport in America, national pastime. But yeah, it's more of it's a players' league, but you know what I'm saying. But as far as popularity, you'll never pass the NFL. They never will. I don't care what nobody says.
Something about Sundays, man.
Yeah, for real, for real. Because think about it, on Sundays after football's over, we have those Sunday Showcase episodes on ABC, on those Sunday games. I'm like, yo, it takes the place of, hey, Sundays aren't as bad. I mean, I love football, but those games.
When a sport takes over an entire day of the week, that's when you know.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what Sundays is in the fall and beginning of the winter time.
Yeah, like
that's
my friends and family,
Sunday.
like, I am a ghost on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't contact me. I'm not going. I'll go maybe to the bar to watch games.
That's where I'll be at.
But
I'm there every week.
Besides that, I am booked for the entire day.
So, we're talking about how the NBA is good. The Lakers know that, right?
Yes.
Right.
Perfect time transition, right?
Yeah, of course.
The Super Lakers. LeBron, #washed king.
Washed king.
Huh.
Yep, washed king.
Interesting how they're doing things, right? They're just completely obliterating people left and right.
So he just switches to point guard and leads the league in assists in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, so that goes to show. What happens when somebody gets a year's long rest, right? Perfect sense from lawn management, right?
I agree.
So let's pose the question: how, why, and what's it gonna take to stop it? That's our questions for Super Lakers right now.
Still, those Clippers are still dangerous, man. That's a dangerous team. I believe the Lakers have what it takes to win it all and to go through the West, but I also know that it will not be easy. I don't think it will be easy.
So then, who are the, let's say, 3 teams that would challenge them for
threats
for the Western Conference?
In the West?
Yeah.
The Clippers, definitely.
The Clippers for sure. They're the end all be all.
Denver, I think Denver is going to be a problem for them.
I can't see Denver.
I think
as a
Denver's.
threat.
I think a lot of time we sleep on them a little bit. I think we sleep on them a lot, but they were one game away from the Western Conference Finals.
They also lost to Portland.
They lost to Portland, so
I can't. I just, you know what it is. They're like the Chiefs,
that's a good take.
but like
3 could take.
But I would say like a little worse. Like, they don't have Nikola Jokic is their Pat Mahomes, but he's not Pat Mahomes. That's like Pat Mahomes is like if LeBron was in Denver and their defense is shit. Like they don't really have that punch to just get over the hump. That player, that guy. They don't. Jokic is a savage, a wonderful player. He is a top 3 center in the game.
But are you going to give him the ball with 10 seconds left to give me that 3
is
or
he
that 2?
gonna get the stop?
Or that too.
You know what I'm saying? And his teammates are bad defenders too. Their defense is really bad. I cannot see a team like that who your only big man you're relying on is Jokic, and you got to deal with Anthony Davis, JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, the resurgence of Dwight Howard. Ooh. He is a brand new man in that team. And then LeBron James down low.
I'm glad you
mentioned Dwight. He was that.
I'm glad you mentioned Dwight Howard. I think Dwight Howard knows. Mm-hmm. I think he knows that this is probably his last chance. This is his last chance. Like like I said, you could see the drop off from how he was in Orlando for all those years, how he's a monster in Orlando, and then just how he just got too. I'm looking for the word. Too passive in the game. They look too passive. And it's like, it kind of threw people off, and a lot of teams didn't want him. It's bad enough when the Brooklyn Nets just said, "Oh, you want the Brooklyn Nets?" And they buy you out. So you don't want you to buy you out.
That's true. Well, his mindset from then and now is completely different.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
I think that's what you call a chip on your shoulder.
Right. I remember there was I believe when he was in Houston, his tenure in Houston, I believe the last year they were talking to him about, the all-time list and getting a ring. And he's like, he doesn't really care if you don't get a ring. You know? And when I seen that, I'm like, you see, that's what separates you
that's not
from the greats, right? Now, he wants to come to the Lakers, and he personally worked out with AD and LeBron. They were right in front of him. And he's locked in. His mindset's changed. He's accepted his role. Let me tell you, son, you're Dwight Howard, right? And he's one of the most underrated players of all time. It's like, no joke. This dude in his prime was insane. You're back up to JaVale McGee.
Yeah.
You know how much that gotta hurt your psyche? You're Dwight Howard, man. You used to be the
three-time defensive player of the year in a row.
Right, and you're backing up JaVale McGee is no scrub. You know, he's improved since his days in Denver. Golden State changed him. But he is a role player. At best, he's a role player. And you're Dwight Howard, instant Hall of Famer. And you got to back up to JaVale McGee. For him to accept that role and to do what he has to do for the team, for them to get wins, it says a lot about him. It says a lot. It shows that he's locked in and he has one goal in mind.
Yeah, to win.
And that's to win. So he's turning his season around. If he will get a ring, that will look real good on a great career. On a great career and an underrated career.
So then what are the other teams?
Clippers. I just cannot pick Denver. I cannot pick the matchup. I can't do it. Maybe I could be wrong. Hey.
Pause. You're not going to like this very much. So apparently Kemba Walker's got stretchered off the court.
Oh, shit.
Oh, my Lord.
You say collided with a teammate and he got stretchered off.
Stretchered, though?
Yes, I don't know what that means.
Come on.
If it's serious or not, or he just startled, or his body just froze. I don't know what it is.
Here's a question. Didn't Kemba Walker play yesterday?
Didn't
Kemba Walker play yesterday?
Kawander's like...
You see what I'm saying?
Kawander's like...
But you see what I'm saying, right? So he just played last night. He plays a back-to-back. He's a small guard. He gets collided with a teammate. Something bad happens. What if he was sore today? What if his body wasn't feeling right? And that little collision made something give out. He's getting stretchered off the court. That doesn't sound good at all. That sounds like you gone.
He played 2 nights ago.
He played two
so
nights
it's not
ago.
a back-to-back, but it's the closest thing to it.
But it's still you came off an overtime.
One question.
High marquee game, yeah.
Was it both road games?
Yeah.
See, it was both road games.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to... You see, that's what I'm saying. The NBA schedule is tough for players. A star player just got hurt, and that I hope it's not too crazy. That's crazy, man. The Boston Celtics playing so good, and I was gonna mention them. They might be a threat.
Yeah, I was gonna go with finals.
I was about to mention them like later on towards finals.
Because assuming that it's not a serious injury, we can still talk about that.
Yeah, because that team, I watched their games. That Clippers game, I seen what they do. I seen how they work together, the plays they run, how they play defense. They're locked in. Usually when I watch teams early, I know people don't call things early. I just watch to see what they're running. How they're running their offense, what players are reading on defense. Because reading on defense, that's just a habit. What you're doing now, you're just going to keep doing it. If you're a bad defender, if you can't pick up off pick and rolls and stuff like that, that's just what you are, man. And that team looked really good, man. They look like the best team in the East, honestly. Them and I'll say maybe Miami. But Clippers, I cannot bring myself to say Houston. They will have to show that to me. 3 teams in the West, I think you'll have to go with 2, man.
Wow, nobody else has a shot.
Yeah. Maybe.
Right now.
You know who matches up well against them? The Mavericks matches up well against them. But I don't know how far.
Those are a lot of children. They got a couple of old guys.
Yeah, I don't know how far they'll go. But in
terms
of matchup, if you want to go just in terms of matchup, they match up well. And they had an instant classic the game when they played each other. Luka Doncic he is something special, man. Utah, you know me with Utah. I don't like them at all. I just think they're completely overrated. I guess you could say, okay, I'll roll with you with Denver, man. I mean, I guess you could say that, but I just can't see it.
No, it is there by default.
Nah, it's something about Denver that, like I said, I think that the fact that they're not really, they're there because they're number 2 seed in the Western Conference and they're a good team, but they're not like they don't jump at you like, oh, but you know, there's something about them that I think they'll surprise people. I'm not too sure.
They're 10-3, right?
Yeah.
And I haven't seen them have one win that I'm like, okay, they're good. You know?
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen them. They recently beat Houston, right? Okay, so boom, that's your win. But you've played 13 games already, and I haven't seen one win where you're pulling away, you know, convincingly. You're always in the ropes. That could be a good thing, you know, late in the season, you know how to play under the pressure. But I don't know, you can't dominate anybody. I'm not really sold on them, man. I'm not really sold on them. For example, in a playoff series, I could see them losing to Houston. I could see them losing to the Clippers. They might probably lose to Utah in a series. I will probably pick them in 7 against Utah, but I can see Utah beating them because they're a heavily defensive team. But this Lakers team is just too good, man. The only thing I think that will stop this team is the Clippers or themselves. The Clippers or themselves.
All right, so perfect transition again. So now they probably have the leading candidate for MVP in that team right now.
LeBron.
Yeah. So
well, when you think about it, okay.
Are there any others that'll challenge it? There are.
Obviously, James Harden is averaging almost 40 points a game.
He's always going to be in the
playoffs,
like every single year.
Like 40 points. That's ridiculous.
Well, the Lakers are 12-2, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Lakers with LeBron. The biggest thing I think with him and his MVP campaign is that he switches to point guard. He's legit like switched to point guard, and he's leading the league in assists. So he's basically Magic Johnson right now. He's basically Magic Johnson right now.
Which was always the only player.
Which he was always like a point guard, but he would do small forward responsibilities on the court sometimes. So you know he's in Miami, Mario Chalmers would take some possessions running as point, or he's in the Lakers, Lonzo Ball, Kyrie. Here, he's running the ball every possession. He is legit the point guard. Like, he's a point guard, man. And he's leading the league in assists like nothing. And he's still averaging 25 a game. He's playing at a very high defensive level.
When they say he can play defense.
Right. I said he's always a good defender, but if he always, for the last, 4 years, he had to carry the offensive load. Like, insanely. The dude is, 34 years old? So my guy cannot be playing as hard as he does on offense and then as hard as he does on defense. He's going to burn out. It's just going to happen, and they're going to get smoked. Now this team could win games. He could sit down and they'll win because, you know, they got Anthony Davis and them guys. But I don't know if he probably is one. Then you got...
He's one to me. All the stuff you just said, he's winning more than everybody else.
And they have the best record.
Yeah.
He probably is one.
Remember, you got to think about this in the terms of how the voters like to vote also. The only thing I will say about this that might go against him is that he did win this award four times. And the burnout still might be around.
Right.
So it might be kind of difficult for him to get a fifth since he's not doing anything quote-unquote spectacular. Right.
Well,
even though this might be his third mother-freaking team that might give another god-dang championship to.
Yeah, it might.
Third. Which I don't know. I don't think it's ever been done
that's
before.
That's never happened. Him and
especially
Kawhi
for a star.
Him and Kawhi is competing for that.
The third? Come on. Well, they got to keep that in mind.
Well, if you want to go in terms of narrative.
We have to.
No, yeah, of course.
They look at that.
It would be his revenge season.
Yeah.
It would be his revenge season. Then you got so that's LeBron at 1. I'll say 1A. Then you got
no such thing as 1A. There ain't no claim repeats, homies. Ain't football.
So you got I'll take LeBron as 1. I'll take LeBron as 1, right? LeBron 1. Then for me 2 is Giannis. Now, I don't put Harden as 2. It's because of what Giannis does on the defensive end.
Makes sense. I
have to acknowledge it. He could play on the perimeter. He could play on the low post. He could guard every position in the entire game.
He can.
At an extremely high level.
Unless if you're Al Horford, then, you know.
Oh, yeah. Hey, everyone has their guy, right? Everyone
100%.
Everyone has their guy. Hey, LeBron's is Paul Pierce. He demolished him, but everyone has their guy. Yeah, Giannis, they're 12-3. They're looking like they're right back in track, just smoking teams, man. Just winning games. He's just chased down, blocking ferociously.
Picking it up from last year, man.
And what I like about him is that he's improved his passing game, his court vision. You need that. They surround him with shooters.
I love players like that.
Yeah,
ways to get better.
He was a terrible passer, man.
Yeah,
he was a terrible passer. He started doing it last year, where he'll start driving and start dishing, start looking around, passing it across the court. If you passing it across the court, that means you're really trying to find what's going on in the game on opening. So I'll have Giannis at 2. They're also 12-3, so they're
winning.
We're right under the Lakers. Then I got Harden. You cannot ignore it. This dude is averaging 39 points per game. It's just ridiculous. I know a lot of people's not a fan of the way he gets his points. Or, I know a specific person that totally hates him, but
it's not me.
It's still 39 points per game. Can't lie. Maybe in the playoffs.
That's just retarded.
Maybe in the playoffs it could lie, but it's the regular season.
39 is
39.
That's just ridiculous.
He's like a glitch, man. He averaged 36 last year?
Something like that.
So he's gonna top it off with 39. The dude is getting 40 in his sleep, and they're winning. They're 11-4. So they're third in the West. So they're right under the Lakers and the Nuggets too, as well. So I will have James Harden. I think he's averaging is he averaging like 8-9 assists as well?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Right? So of course he's 3. 4, I'll put Luka Doncic. He's doing what LeBron is doing. Just take out the defense and the wins. This dude is like a point guard. Just dishing out all over the place. Average again like triple doubles.
300 points, 100 assists, 100 rebounds in 10 games. Or
What?
more 10 games.
Yeah.
That's what
How you get a triple double in 17 minutes? Like, I know you're playing the Warriors, but these are NBA players, man. You're playing NBA players, and you get a 17-point triple double? Come on, man. And the way he does it is just so smooth. He's like an old man.
It's like I've never seen anybody like that before.
Yeah, he's like.
He's interesting.
I seen a post on Instagram. I don't know who said it, but I agree with it. They said Luka Doncic at 20 is better than LeBron at 20. And I'm like, yeah, I got to agree with that. He's just...
That was 2005?
2005, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, this dude is in his second year, right? He's going to be an all-star. It's just going to happen. He almost made it last year.
About to do it last year.
As a rookie, right? So he's going to be an all-star. He's probably going to make the playoffs. And he's probably going to be competing for MVP. And this is your second season, man. Seriously? And you're your second season, you're an elite basketball player. Like an elite player. That's insane. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with in the future.
And it's interesting because the Dallas Mavericks are known for being able to draft really good international players. The Mavericks and the Spurs are really good at drafting international players. And you know what I'm saying? Look, Dirk Nowitzki retired. And now you have literally...
There's your replacement.
The replacement right there is like you didn't miss a beat. It's like... I think the fact that the international players are part of the game now. And a lot of people saying that we don't need to go all the time to look for in America, in American colleges, to see the next big star when they're right across the Atlantic Ocean. Just dominated. So
and it's looking like in a few years, that might be your best player.
Yeah, the best player.
He might be the best player in the NBA.
Yeah,
People
NBA.
already think Giannis the best player, right? Well, that's your last year's MVP. International player agrees.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, Luka Doncic said, I always find this funny every time I think about this. He said the Euro League was easier than the NBA. So.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he said last year. He said the Euro League was harder. I'm like, what? You got some balls, kid.
Well, he's playing like it is.
Yeah, and then I guess like fifth for this is more like sleepers. Like I'm aware of you. I know what you're doing. It's Brandon Ingram. He is balling, man. This dude is averaging like 28 points per game. He's blossoming before our very eyes. It's looking like the only thing with that team is everyone is dying. Yeah, that's the only thing. Lonzo. Again. JJ Redick's getting hurt. Ingram just recently got hurt. You already know the story with Zion Williamson. Jahlil Okafor is getting hurt. It's like almost the entire team is injured, man.
I think Drew Holiday was hurt too.
Drew Holiday was hurt. That's right. I felt like I was forgetting someone. Drew Holiday. So it's almost like the entire team's getting hurt, man.
I'm glad you mentioned the Pelicans because it's going to tie into the next topic about the coaches, which is I'm actually glad that you mentioned that.
Right. Alvin Gentry?
Yeah, Alvin Gentry, yeah. It's very interesting.
So you got him in the hot seat?
I think I have him in the hot seat.
I'm not going to lie.
I do have him
I'm
in the
not
hot
going
seat.
to lie.
I say that because
I'm surprised he's still here after, 3 or 4 years?
Yeah,
I'm surprised they had that much patience.
As far as
he did have, in those 3-4 years, he had 2 playoff appearances, right?
He did.
So that was what helped him.
It helped, yeah. But
he advanced around.
1. He was in the Warriors when they played Anthony Davis. He got hired the year after. When the Warriors won their first championship, he was there. He was their assistant. So 1 playoff appearance.
What about when they beat Portland?
That's the 1 playoff appearance. They didn't make playoffs after that.
Yeah. Oh, but they advanced
before
around.
that. I mean,
yeah,
they swept Portland.
I'm talking about how they handled everything happened last year, and I think the Pelicans management basically kind of threw them under the bus a little bit, saying that you kind of
you sniffing. That's what you're doing.
I think they're trying to get him out of there.
You sniffing him out.
You think he's out, huh?
I think he's out of there. I think
it sounds like a mistake to me. At least right now.
I think it's a mistake too, but I have a feeling that the organization, the Benson family, want to move in a different direction. I think that how they've handled the AD situation last year, even though he coached well and did the best he could with what they had, but I think that they should be they anticipate to be a lot better. So it's like, we need to do something.
Well, what I would say is I wouldn't get rid of him now, right? Let's see how this thing plays out.
I wouldn't get rid of him.
They have promising pieces. So give him, I'll say, 2 years or a year and a half, right? Let's see what happens. This team, I would say in 2 years should be a playoff team. Just no, maybe actually in a year.
I would say probably a year.
Probably in a year should be a playoff team, no question about it. You got one of the youngsters blossoming, right? Another one, which
the
is
Lakers are pissed about that.
Right.
Well, they're not pissed.
No, we're not. We got Anthony Davis.
No, I'm just saying, not pissed about it, but in the back of your mind, like, you mother.
But he showed that, I was telling people in the second half of the season, he was doing this. But and you have a second younger piece, which is the underrated one. It's because Brandon Ingram is shining too much as Jahlil Okafor. When he was playing, he was killing too. I think that dude is still like 26.
He's young.
He's still young.
The team needs to prove itself too, though.
Right, but the team needs to prove itself. Let's see what happens when Zion comes back. That's my one problem with Brandon Ingram. One thing I noticed about Brandon Ingram, he needs to be the focal point of the offense. If he's not the focal point of the offense, he doesn't play well. So Kuzma was there. Kuzma was shining. He wasn't playing well. Kuzma got hurt. LeBron got hurt. He started killing. See that, right? Mm-hmm. Zion's hurt. He's having the best season of his career. So what happens when Zion comes back? Because Zion comes back, this is your team, right?
Yep.
This is your team. So now you have to play second fiddle. I don't think he can do that. I think because his skill set, he needs the ball in the low post. He could play point guard as well. He needs to run the offense. He might not be able to play second fiddle.
He's the opposite of Jason Tatum. Got it.
He's the opposite. He cannot be he has to be the focal point. So let's
That's
see. When Zion comes back, I will pay close attention to him.
Like I'm glad you mentioned that because I don't think you should give it him either. I just think that the organization is trying to move in a different direction because they felt that I don't know. It's something about like for instance, the Benson family also owns the Saints as well. So that's their
really?
Baby. Yeah. So that's their baby. Their baby is the Saints. So the fact that Tom Benson died, the owner passed away last year. So you have his wife running the show, and it's like there's not a lot of basketball people running teams nowadays. It's business people. So I think that they want to that we should be at a higher level where we at right now. So I don't know. I don't think it's a mistake in them firing. I think he's doing a great job, but.
This might be a business move then.
Yeah,
business.
That's what it is.
So they're
trying to sell tickets, and since they're not doing anything, and they're looking at coach like, what the F? Get out. We'll get somebody who knows how to make our players shine, even though they're in the fucking hospital.
Right.
That's the problem with most teams now.
So you got Gentry in the hot seat based off it being a business, not based on your personal opinion.
Absolutely not. No, I don't think they should fire him at all. But I think watching, well, obviously you don't watch full Pelicans game. You can see the business side of it as well, especially when they show on ESPN, when they show on, local news. Because like I said, I'm on YouTube a lot, and I subscribe to a lot of sports teams and people who talk about them, and they mention it, saying that it might be more of a business decision to try to save face and try to, but I don't think it's a good idea personally. I don't think it's a good idea. But to move on to another coach, how a couple of weeks ago they were talking about trying to fire David Fizdale, and I thought that's a big mistake too. I think they should not fire him at all. I don't understand why he's on the hot seat anyway, but you're not giving him much to work with. I think that the Knicks is either they're in it and they lose the league, or they completely fall apart, or they just barely get it done. Like
the Knicks, man. By the way, you guys, if you guys are paying attention, then you heard the last roundtable, so you can slander me all you want, man.
I think it's too early to say that.
But
I think it's way too early.
I just saw something in them
to retract your thing. Yeah, it's way too early.
It's still early. Let's see what happens.
But like what I'm saying. But I didn't like how the front office, how they threw him under the bus like that. And then Dave Fizdale, obviously the professional that he is.
Yeah, they're only behind like 2 games from the 8th spot, bro. Like,
are they 11? Really?
Yeah, the 8th seed is 6 and 8.
No,
I'm
talking about
not even close.
That's true. How they threw him under the bus like that. I'm like, I didn't understand why you want to. How he's on a hot seat. Oh, well, the game they lost to Cleveland and Sacramento. I'm like, it's still early in the season. Like,
they swept Dallas.
They did sweep Dallas.
I think that was a pride thing though. They didn't want to lose to Porzingis. I think that's
probably. Hey, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
But like I said, last year he went 17 games last year, right? With nothing, none to work. Porzingis was out. He did the best he could, and now it's a new season. The same thing. Y'all didn't do anything in free agency. Well, y'all tried to do something in free agency, but y'all struck out every single time.
They have a future though. Their best players are all young.
Exactly.
Just wait.
I really like who is it? Frank Ntilikina. He's actually playing better.
Absolutely despise.
He's playing better.
I hate him with a burning passion because I just think he sucks and he's a terrible basketball player.
But he's playing better. He's playing better though.
He had that little 17-point game, and I was at work and I almost ran out the building because of how amazed I was. I'm like, what? Nikila?
Mind you, that's not that many points.
Right? I'm like, Nikila? Points? What? But I mean, I think they bombed that pick, and I'm gonna stand by that until I see something. They did good with Julius Randle, I'll say that. But
and RJ Barry shows promise. He has promise there. Like,
he's a good rebounder.
He's a really good rebounder.
I'm like, he averages like 8-9 rebounds a game. So is he like a guard?
I mean,
that's what I'm gonna ask you.
Yeah, like he averages every time I look 7, 8, 9. Whoa.
So is that Boo Boo on their front court, or he just good at it? Because that is kind of ridiculous.
It might be a combination of both. Because their rim protector, I don't know what's the deal with him. If Knicks fans are watching, maybe you could comment what's the deal with Mitchell Robinson. He's only playing like 16 minutes a game. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why. He's like a
suck. Is he fat?
Why? No, he's like a Rudy Gobert, like a black Rudy Gobert.
Oh shit!
Pretty much what he is.
So I don't understand.
He's like a black Rudy Gobert. He is.
I just think they should pump the brakes on it because obviously you're not giving much to work with. So why put him on the hot seat now?
Well,
it makes no sense.
Well, when you're a bad franchise, you do stupidity like this.
You know what?
Exactly.
I keep on
it's cancer, man.
I keep on. Like
this
I
is
said,
arguably
Steve Mills,
the worst franchise in basketball. So
in like the last
Steve
decade.
Mills has been with the Knicks for a long time, and James Dolan, even though he's the owner, he's a
who's the true cancer?
James Dolan. Yeah, who's the worst owner in basketball and
arguably in sports.
Arguably in sports. You can argue sports if you want to, but like I said, like I mentioned earlier in the podcast, the Knicks are good. The league does well, and the Knicks have not been good in a long time. But to blame it all on the coach, you can't really blame it all too much on him. I mean, my only criticism of Fizdale is that the way he does his lineup changes, it is weird how he just plays the lineup too much. I'm like, yo, what are you doing, man? Just stick to what you're doing right now, man.
So, okay, Gentry, Fizdale. One also is Luke Walton. Luke Walton.
Yes.
I just thought of him right now.
Yes.
My guy. What is wrong with your mind? Okay? Why do you continuously put weird lineups in the game? Okay? I've been saying this since last year.
Let's cut you
with
off.
the Lakers.
The fucking transition into these topics are actually amazing, actually. How it transitions the topic like that. It's amazing. I'm not going to lie to you, but continue your story.
Luke Walton. I've been saying this from last year about you. You'll have a player that is hot, right? Mid-game. And you'll just sub him out for like about 10, 15 minutes for no reason. And you'll have these weird, questionable lineups. And I'll always ask myself, why is this lineup here? You were in the Kings now in your first year, who a team who almost made the playoffs last year, right? In the West.
Yes.
And they started off, what, like 0-7? Like 0-7.
Only like 2 games out of 8.
Now they're starting to change it around a little, but they're still losing unnecessary games. So I don't understand. So for sure, I think he's in the hot seat, even though he just started, because I don't like the way he coaches at all. I don't like his rotations.
I'm going to the Kings that the coach last year. What his name?
You're talking about Dave Yeager.
Yeah, Dave Yeager, who honestly, in my opinion,
never in my life seen a coach get dealt a bad hand as much as he has and overachieve with it.
But then again, it's like the Kings. Vlade Divac is a terrible GM. He's horrible. He is terrible. You fired him, right? You fired him for Luke Walton, who, if you think about it, except for that 1 year when he went 26-0 with the Warriors when he was taking over.
Well, what team was that?
That was the Justice League.
No, I'm saying that, but he made me man look good. He went to the Lakers, and they basically.
That was a team who their players who didn't play that day coached them.
Yes, exactly.
So
it's not,
I think I would have got the same record.
No, I'm saying my thing is that you know that Luke Walton is a great assistant. You know what he's did in Golden State, obviously because you have the Justice League, as you mentioned. And then my thing is that a lot of time when he was in the Lakers, they was coaching the team themselves. So like, why you can tell that he struggles with leadership. So why would you hire him as your coach? Why would you fire someone who just barely missed the playoffs last year to hire someone? First of all, you hired Luke Walton hours after he was fired by the Lakers, which means that you had a deal in place already, and he hasn't proven anything, to be honest. Like, why would you hire him?
Again, when you're a bad franchise, that's the type of stuff
True.
you make. So they are looking like they're part of the underachievers, somehow overachieving.
Definitely.
Definitely.
So instead of continuing with underachievers, let's start with overachievers.
All right.
Who is overachieving to you guys this season so far in the first month?
The Boston Celtics. Definitely.
Sure.
Because when Kyrie Irving left, good fucking riddance, by the way. When Kyrie Irving left the Celtics,
Jesus Christ.
and they're saying that we're going to take a step back because, first of all, we made it to the East. Well, the Celtics made it to the Eastern Conference Finals in 2018, and we're 1 game away from the NBA Finals without him and Gordon Hayward. I think Kyrie stunted the growth of the young players last year tremendously. He was a problem. He wasn't a leader, and it was like a toxic ooze that was just dripping through the franchise. And Brad Stevens does have partially the blame for it, for not controlling it. But I think that without him there, and they're just playing so free flowing, like defensively, they're one of the best defensive teams in the league.
They look as good as anyone.
At least anybody. At least you can have Kemba Walker, who plays really good defense as well.
Does.
I mean, you can argue better than you can argue better than Kyrie.
That's a surprise to me.
But you know
He plays better defense than Kyrie.
Yeah, and also
everybody
you
does,
have Kemba Walker, who's coming from Charlotte, who I know is a dog, who wants to win, he wants to play, and then beating Charlotte.
There's a franchise that's the worst franchise in the last decade.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It's
So
up there
the
with
Celtics, even though they didn't need him anyway,
Jersey.
they are definitely overachieving. They're saying, listen, they could probably win the East. They could probably win the East. They wanted to.
They might.
Milwaukee beat them last year because Kyrie and them gave up. And that Game 5 last year,
That was disgusting.
that
was just
I kid you not. I was watching Game 5 in Ace Bar, and I've never been so disgusted. I wanted to drink more and more because I literally watched my favorite team just quit. Just literally quit.
They literally quit.
In an elimination game, the only person that played well and had enough heart was Marcus Smart. Everybody else just said, "Fuck it, I don't care anymore." Like Terry Rozier, why are you even here? Like, This your the body language just made me so angry. I left the bar. I left the bar at halftime. I'm going home. This is a waste of my time. When they missed like 7 straight shots and didn't even fight, and they had like 7 straight offensive rebounds by Milwaukee. I'm like, yo, you're not even trying to get the rebound. Like, what are y'all doing?
It is the East is top heavy.
Yes.
So
yes,
it is
entirely top heavy. Yes.
It is. It will be tough. It will be tough for them to come out, but they are a force to be reckoned with.
Who else?
The Miami Heat.
Yes.
No question. That team is crazy nice, man.
They were
Pat Riley
with Jimmy Butler. They were winning without him.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
you know why? Pat Riley strikes again, man. He drafts Tyler Hero, right? Who I've loved coming into the draft. I love Tyler Hero. I watch his college games. And then he gets the undrafted steal. I believe his name is Kendrick Nunn.
Oh, yeah.
He's insanely nice, bro. So you got 2 rookies who's competing for Rookie of the Year in the same team. And they're just balling, man. Then you got Jimmy Butler. Who else you got? You got Bam Adebayo, who's underrated. He's a really good player. They just have a crew, man. They just have a crew, and they're playing good defense.
You could say that Eric Spoelstra can hat. He could put his name in the hat for Coach of the Year.
I love Coach. I always love
Coach. Spoelstra's a great coach. Great coach.
I always love Coach Spo. The only good coach LeBron ever had.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Yeah. Now he got Frank Vogel, and look at the Lakers defense.
Yeah.
But Coach Spo was the best coach LeBron ever had. No question. He was a great coach.
Another team that's overachieving. You could say Dallas. Dallas kind of overachieved a little bit more, even though they had promised last year that even though Porzingis didn't play, just the idea that Porzingis and Luka Doncic in the front court, wow, that's just a dynamic duo.
That's a dynamic duo.
And I think that they, like I said, they're winning. I mean, they lost to the Knicks twice this year, but in close games. But for the most part, they really up there. They make it interesting. It usually Dallas Mavericks games are so boring to watch over the years, but now it's exciting to watch. Now
this is my first year having NBA League Pass, and that is my number 1 team to watch this year. It's Dallas Mavericks. I watch no team. The Lakers is one, but besides them, it's Dallas Mavericks.
And underachievers.
Underachievers, obviously, we have to go with the Detroit Pistons, who were a player team last year. They suck this year. You would think that, okay, they're thinking about moving on Andre Drummond, who's a tenacious rebounder. That's basically
he sucks.
But he sucks, though. But only he does is rebound, which is what you need.
He sucks. He's this version of Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
He is a complete stat pattern.
I agree.
And it just doesn't. He doesn't even win, man. Like with those monstrous games.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
Why that's so funny? Because they're in the same fucking city. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh wow, they are. Yeah. He sucks.
And then the Tigers suck too. So fuck it.
He sucks. They're just Derrick Rose or bust.
The Philadelphia 76ers, you mentioned, with all the talent they have, as far as from starting lineup talent, and say, oh, they have a chance to really go to the. They have if they done achieve as well.
They are 9-5, but I thought they would be
a lot better than that.
Yeah.
I mean, the last game against the Knicks, you were down 17 points to the Knicks, and it's like, yeah, you came back because Marcus Morris had to play basketball in the last few minutes of the game. But you know what I'm saying. But for the most part, you should be a lot better than this. And I think you mentioned before we started recording, Brent Brown would be on the hot seat.
Definitely hot seat.
If they don't.
I never liked that dude.
Also, not a fan of him at all.
Never liked that dude.
His problem is not more of rotations, but where he's going with the offense. So, for example, if there's a certain matchup that needs to be attacked and executed, he will not pursue it in clutch situations. I don't know if you remember, but going back to that series against Boston, and it was Game 5, and Joel Embiid was literally putting the team on his back in this game.
And that series why I hate him so much.
And
that series,
I'm talking about Embiid, and that fourth quarter was unstoppable, man. And he just wouldn't give him the ball in the last minute. And I'm just screaming, why are you not attacking with Embiid? Go out with the hot hand, with the right play. He doesn't do it. They lost. They should against Toronto. They were the better team that series.
They were.
No question about it. They were, okay, you know, Kawhi hit that.
The luckiest shot of all time.
He did hit the lucky shot. But in that fourth quarter, you could have ran better plays. I think they had a little 2 to 3 minute drought in the last few minutes of that game, right? Mm-hmm. So you see what I'm saying with Brent Brown? He doesn't put that team to their max potential is the problem.
That should have been a Ben Simmons quarter too.
Should have been a Ben Simmons quarter. And Ben Simmons in that game played. Kawhi had 39 points in that game, but I think he shot 40 shots. Ben Simmons played really good on Kawhi in that game. But Brent Brown, man, he's definitely in the hot seat. I'm not a fan of him.
And I think another person in the hot seat as well. Well, we keep on going back and forth with another thing too. Even though the Rockets are not underachieving, they're where we thought we were going to be. I was actually concerned about how they're going to do the Westbrook and the Harden was going to gel together, how they're going to do it together. But Mike D'Antoni, you could say that he's in the hot seat too because there was too many times in the last few years where, especially in 2018, you had a chance to beat the Warriors. You beat the Warriors in that Game 7, and even though obviously you missed 27 straight 3-pointers, obviously, like, listen.
That's completely unacceptable.
Unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. 27 straight threes in a row you miss. Like, you live by it, you die by the 3. But you have a lot of, like I said, I think, first of all, Mike D'Antoni is a pretty good coach, but honestly speaking.
He's Andy Reid.
Yeah, that's a great
Pretty
analogy.
much. He's Andy Reid.
That's a great
Just,
analogy.
250 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He's pretty much Andy Reid. Andy Reid's a good coach. He's not a great coach.
Petty as fuck.
Mike D'Antoni, he's a good coach, but he's not a great coach. He can only be evaluated in the playoffs. There won't be no disappointing regular season with Mike D'Antoni. It's just not going to happen.
Same thing with Andy Reid.
Their teams are just going to score too many points. They're going to win too many games. It's going to happen. But when the playoffs come, when they play those good teams, they're going to lose. That's what's going to happen. That's what I believe is going to happen to Houston this year. And if it happens again, there's a problem. Mike D'Antoni will definitely is in the hot seat, and if they don't win, he should be fired.
No more underachievers in the West Side.
Underachievers on the. You already said Sacramento.
Yeah. San Antonio.
San Antonio. Oh, I'm looking like a genius so far.
They're 5-10. They're 5-10. Yeah, you're right. They're 5-10. The trade.
Kemba had a concussion. You good? See, told you.
Oh. He got stretched off of a concussion.
He probably was like motionless or something. I don't know.
Fucking walk.
Yeah.
All right, so he's a week or two.
Yeah, he's gonna be fine. Yeah. Probably a game. Like it's a concussion.
Well, it depends. You usually want to make sure probably like 2 games, more likely 3.
They're
games.
the Celtics. They could win whatever.
But he'll be back for Brooklyn. He'll be back for Brooklyn. I'll tell you that much. Bust Brooklyn's ass.
So
San Antonio.
San Antonio, yes. They're proving that, listen, DeMar DeRozan, they realized that, listen, we're going to trade Kawhi Leonard for DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan is a good player, but not enough to lead a team. Those days of San Antonio being the beats of the West is over. It's over. Pop can only do but so much. Pop is a Hall of Famer, but he can only do but so much with this team. This team is trash. LaMarcus Aldridge is just...
He's inconsistent. That's
very
his problem.
consistent.
He's just an inconsistent player.
You know what I'm saying? He just there.
I would say he is their best player.
And that's a problem.
And he's inconsistent. Yeah, I will give him the notch over DeRozan. I will give him as overall player. I will give him the notch over DeRozan, but he's inconsistent.
That's a problem.
So you don't know what LaMarcus Aldridge you're gonna get.
He can't be your best player.
Yeah,
it's not the Portland days with him and Lillard, him and Roy.
When he's in his prime, he's a monster.
Yeah.
Last year,
dogging everybody.
Before last year, they were like 20 straight years with 50-win seasons. They hit like 44th last year. They may not even make the playoffs this year because the West is so crazy.
That's another issue. The conference is crazy.
It's so great. And even though Juan pointed out that they'll miss the playoffs, and I did say we're not going to be disrespectful to them, but they're not looking too good right now.
Well, when you're the best, quote unquote, for 20 years, but how long you think it's going to last?
Well, that's why I called it.
You know what I'm saying? You can't get a Tim Duncan every 20 years.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? You can't get a Ginobili every 15.
Nope.
A Parker every 15. So, eventually, that dynasty is going to end.
I mean, I know that.
And their best player's aging, too, so now they got to find another guy.
I'm just saying that, I had them as a playoff team, 8 seed.
Oh, I did too.
I was an 8 seed, but
they're not completely out. They are 2-3 games behind. Just that when you're in this ridiculous conference, and you probably showed zero signs.
And recently, I was talking to
you know what I mean, and
I
changing.
I was talking to someone recently. My cousin, he's been keeping an eye on them, right? And apparently, their defense has been really shit lately. So
Which is very, very uncharacteristic of them. That's not what they were about.
They played Washington and allowed 130, a buck 30 to Washington.
And my final underachiever is the Portland Trailblazers.
Oh, I forgot about
the Portland Trailblazers, who made the conference finals last year. They are struggling in games. Yeah, they picked up Carmelo Anthony, which another tie-in to the topic.
I'm a genius. I know. I put that on purpose.
This is a great lineup, man. It's great.
I'm a good host.
This is great.
I'm a good host. I know what I'm doing.
So Portland's problem is the offseason killed them too much. It was too much for them to recover from. They lost Aminu. They lost Harkless. They don't have Nurkic. They lost Cantor. They lost too many. They lost Seth Curry. They lost too many role players.
And lost Aminu.
Yeah, that's what I said. Aminu was the first one. They lost too many key role players that made that team what it was, and it's hurting them to the point of no recovery.
Yeah, they didn't have a wing until now.
Yeah. They got Carmelo because they like legit seriously needed that dude.
Needed him.
They needed that dude so bad because they don't have a wing. They failed, and whoever's the GM, a complete failure.
That GM is
failed
trash for God knows
in the
how
offseason. Like I said, I don't know. Their big offseason prize was Hassan Whiteside. That's what it was. That's what I'm just being honest.
He's trash.
Their big pickup was Hassan Whiteside, and he's playing terrible.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Ever since they had that big fat five back in like 12, 13, when they had
David Lillard was a rookie.
They had Batum and Wesley Matthews and all them Aldridge, Prime Aldridge.
That was Damian. See,
Robin Lopez.
Damian Lillard got a dealt bad hand. He was a rookie. Went into that team next year. They all
blew up. Yeah. Ever since then, that GM has been god awful.
Terrible. Yeah, your best move since Lillard was CJ.
Yeah, with drafting CJ by and far.
But yeah, they can't. This won't be a playoff team. No, it just can't.
Finally,
they're in their games. They're fighting from behind against everybody. It's like they're fighting to not get smoked every night.
So how long Lillard's been gone? Cause I know he didn't play last game.
I think he's probably missed like 2 games.
He's 2 games already.
So this started since the beginning. Like it's just too bad, man. They lost. Those players were really key role to them. They were great rebounders. They were their defense because their best players are not their best defenders. They're
not even close.
Terrible defenders.
It's not even close. And Melo won't fix that either. So
exactly.
Especially defensively.
Aminu was like your best perimeter defender.
Yeah, by far, yeah.
Right? He was a great
3-and-D guy.
3-and-D. You had Harkless. He could do the same thing, and he can attack the paint.
Yes, he does.
Right? Seth Curry was your other guard coming off the bench. Your 6th man. Mm-hmm. You had Cantor, your big that could score. Hassan Whiteside cannot score. Cantor is a great scorer. Despite his defense, he's a fantastic post scorer. Yeah. And he was gone. Nurkic was really your guy
number 3.
That made you guys like a really good team, and then he destroyed his leg. So they're just done, man. They're just done. They got Melo.
How about Melo?
So he don't belong in the NBA, huh? 18-point game, 10-point game. He was 18. Yesterday he was 18 points with 60% from the 3-point line against Giannis. Against last year's MVP and currently MVP, top 5 currently MVP candidate. And I was watching that game. He was scoring on him. He was scoring on Giannis, shooting threes on his face. He
got the Melo. The triple right on the toe, on the temple.
I don't know what took so long. He belongs to the NBA. He's better than like about 60% of the whole league. There are serious scrubs in this league.
Yeah,
he's better than them. This is not like Colin Kaepernick. He's actually trash.
He's getting paid so much less too.
Yeah. You hired him for a 7-day contract too. That's tryouts, bro.
Wait, this 7-day contract?
7-day contract. They hired him to a 7-day contract.
They're gonna obviously renew that. They haven't done it already.
Obviously, but the point is they didn't. But they said they signed him out of desperation for the team.
And it was a tryout.
And it's a tryout. You see what I'm saying? This is not like Colin Kaepernick, that's a whole other discussion. Yeah, but Melo, he's very effective still to this game. He can score 15 to 20 points a game. That's what I've been telling everybody. He had a 10-point game. Now, remember, okay, he was inefficient from the field, but he didn't play in 367
I'm about to say
days.
he hadn't played like over a year.
Right? So the next game, he drops 18 points. And he's shooting 60% from the 3-point line. He looks like he's been in the best shape since his Denver days. Come on, man. He belongs in the NBA. He's still a decent player.
Back to load management. See what happens when you rest.
You see, he didn't play. You're right. He didn't play for a whole year.
That's probably what he
worked
needed.
his body, got his body in shape, because that was what his. That's
Yeah,
another.
Fat Mello. I've been calling Fat Mello for
He
years.
was fat. He was fat, but now he looks in shape. A little slimmer, a little quicker,
And a chip on your shoulder.
a chip on his shoulder.
How the league just disrespected you for almost a year.
League straight disrespected you. Honest. And another thing, before he started playing, I'm like, so they're 4-8. They're 4-8, completely trash. There could be no reason why, if he comes and they lose more, it's his fault. Because they were completely trash.
Yeah, because I heard that Damian was trying to recruit him for over a year.
So on that part, that's where Melo messed up, right? Damian been trying to recruit him since before he went to OKC.
Oh, so even longer than a year, see?
Right.
Yeah.
So he used to hit him up, and Damian it's funny because he's not you would think he's not really the type of guy to really hit people up. Hey, come play with me, because he's like his mind is like those old school guys, but he been hit him up. Hey, come play. Maybe come demand a trade to come here, come play with Portland with us. He went to OKC. After OKC, he was a free agent, and you guys could actually this is actually an interview with Damian Lillard. So anybody who's listening, you can watch it. And Damian Lillard said...
And tell him we sent you. No, I'm kidding.
And Damian Lillard said, okay, he's a free agent. So he hit him up again. Hey, come to Portland. He never came. So Damian Lillard said, it's out of my hands. This is when this whole situation started becoming a big problem. So he said, it's out of my hands. I reached out for him. He didn't want to come. Maybe there's something wrong with Portland. But now, since he just wants to be in the league, and he's accepted the bench role, but they start him.
You have no choice to start him.
Yeah, they have no choice but to start him. I know they don't have no choice but to start him.
That was one of the few places that he was easily going to start no matter what.
But I
knew
always
that.
thought he fit them, and I always wanted him to go to Portland. He's just a perfect match for them. The way they want to run their offense, Houston, even though he played good in Houston too, but Harden with the dribble, Chris Paul with the dribble, and he's just standing there. Melo is not a stretch.
What's the worst?
No.
He's not a stretch.
He scored 28 points in his last game in Houston.
And 28 points, and they cut him.
And they cut him the next day.
He's not a wait out in the corner. Okay, give me the ball. I shoot. You gotta run him in the post. You gotta run him in the fast break because he likes to shoot rhythm dribbles with speed. So you're running while he's running. He goes into the ball. He can't just stand in a corner, and when you break the defense, then you dish it, and he's shooting a set shot 3. That's not who he is. And if you can't use him the way he needs to be played, that means you're a bad coach.
Yep.
Because you're supposed to use the players to their best ability, right?
Plus, this guy's been here for like 16 years. Everybody knows how he plays by now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how you gonna use him as a standstill player? And he still played good, and you cut him. Portland is using him the way he needs to be used. He's in the post. He's running with rhythm dribbles. He gets the ball, some isolation plays. That's how you use him. He's still a good player in this league. He's gonna still play good this year.
You know what else is good?
What?
This podcast.
Yeah, it's great.
My guy right here is a beast.
He's
This is why I bring Raul over here. You hear everything?
Thank you.
He teaching me stuff. And I feel like I know everything, but he taught me some stuff today. You hear that?
Thanks.
So you want to hear more about this guy, you go on his YouTube channel at B-Ball Gamer.
There's storylines in the NBA. We just gotta, open up and see how it is, and stop having ESPN people like ESPN and fucking Sports Illustrated disrespect Carmelo Anthony. ESPN had Carmelo Anthony a year ago, 65 players better than him. Really?
Unbelievable.
Really? Alex Caruso is better than Carmelo Anthony?
I love Alex Caruso though.
So what Trevor was saying earlier, you'll see this podcast of how long it took and why it took this long. Imagine we were doing this weekly. How much would you really have to talk about in a month?
That's true.
Right.
That's why we're waiting. Like I said, once the winter hits, you'll be getting a lot more NBA content in this podcast, in this channel.
Definitely.
But since this is an NFL ruled season right now, because we only got 5 weeks left. It's week 12 in NFL, and playoffs is after that. NBA just started, so there's time. So once January and February, not even Christmas. Once Christmas hits, it's a wrap. There's gonna be a lot of NBA content after that, and we're gonna be just up on it as we are on NFL now. We'll be on that in NBA, and he'll come along a lot more often. You get educated a lot more.
Yes.
So that's why for people who are talking to me, where's the NBA content? Here you go.
You're welcome.
You got about 3 weeks to a month before we do this again, but once that hits, you're gonna get it damn near weekly at that point. So that's why. Here you go. So leave me alone.
Roundtable, baby.
Roundtable, baby.
That being said, like, share, subscribe. We are on iTunes, iHeartradio. We're on YouTube. We're on Stitcher Radio. Any radio thing you probably think of, we got it. I'm pretty sure we should be on Pornhub Audios. But
oh my God.
I'm advocating us on Pornhub Audio. If Chisel Dyer can do it, so can fucking we.
No. I was gonna say something so bad. I can't do that right now. No. Well, anyway, we're also on Twitter at Podcast Dynasty, and like I said, I will be linking Raul's channel and Twitter on the description below. He's actually very active in Twitter, so he'll answer you faster than I would. I ain't gonna lie.
I will.
Yeah. So with that all said, we love you guys.
Peace
Peace out.
Pornhub Audio. Let's go.
No.